been done in collaboration with Dr. Bakharia from Center of Animal Disease Modeling Surveillance. So, as you may know, rabies is a zoonotic disease due to a virus that is neurotropic and causes fatal cases of encephalitis. The transmission is through a direct contact with saliva and on the wounded skin. All mammal species can be infected by rabies. In Tunisia, the main reservoir and vector of the disease is a dog. You may have heard a lot about rabies the last years, and we would like to show scientifically if there's a real actual increase in this disease in Tunisia during the last 3 years. And in our study, what will be innovative, while other studies worked on incidence of prevalence, we would like to analyze the spatial-temporal evolution of rabies case during a 6-year period. So for this, let me just show you an example of a suspicious dog from a delegation at the governorate of Peru. The veterinary officers in the region send the sample to the IPT laboratory of rabies. So in the laboratory of rabies, we receive several samples as well as very useful data. And what we did is to arrange all this data during 6-year period to try to understand what actually happens. And we analyzed all this data in SETScan software by spatial and spatial-temporal analysis. And we obtained very interesting results, including clusters and maps of temporal and spatial evolution. First of all, we can notice that there is an actual increase beginning from 2012 in animals, including dogs. So, as you may see, rabies is represented in the whole territory, and as you may notice also, there is a movement from west to the east. And you also notice that in the south there is little or no cases. But what if I told you if maybe they just don't send enough samples? This is why we represented the number of samples sent to the IPT lab in each of the 265 delegations in the country. So you notice that in the south and some regions in Syria, for example, red and yellow delegations send only an average of 1 or 2 samples per year. So is it related to the distance to the lab? Or maybe there's actually no suspicion. So we like to go further and represent the positive fraction. The positive fraction is the number, we would like to know from all these samples how many are actually positive. So the regions where the research represented in red have high positive fraction. High positive fraction means that from all the samples, nearly 80 to 100% are positive. Either they don't send samples, they send samples only when they are 100% sure that it's suspicion, so the surveillance is very low, or there is a very high number and there's an outbreak. In a second time, we try to analyze all this data that we represented, and what we found is that through a spatial cluster analysis, we found 4 clusters located in the north and the east. Clusters are regions with a significantly high number of rabies cases. So we would like to go a little further. So this is a better view. We would like to go further and see in each year where are the clusters located. So in this view here, in different colors are different years. And we notice that different years clusters move. Why don't we have the same cluster in the same region over the years? Maybe the outbreak disappeared quickly and moved. So we would like to show you an animation so that you can easily notice that there's an actual movement from west to the east. And we can emit a hypothesis. So we know all over the world that the control measures are effective to eradicate rabies. So maybe when there is a high number of cases, the governmental commission, like firemen, put all their resources to eradicate rabies in this region. But they don't put the same resources in the neighboring regions so that a new cluster appears in the neighboring regions. And they just run away with the fire extinguishers. So, briefly, we would like to say that this study is preliminary to have hypotheses and keys to further study and know exactly what happened and what are the causes. So there is a spatial expansion of rabies, an increase in number of rabies, and confirmed movement from west to the east. And we would like to recommend to the government to strengthen the surveillance, to detect all the cases, and to strengthen the control in every case. And our limitation is that, first of all, to understand the cause, we need several studies, and we have got a grant, PCI grant from Pasteur Institut, to work in collaboration with the Laboratoire Transmission, Contrôle et Infection, Immunologie des Infections, and Center of Animal Disease Modeling and Surveillance. And other studies are being done in laboratory for rabies. For example, immune response of dogs is a PhD thesis of my colleague Marie Handous, and we would like also to work on the population estimation studies. And all these dogs are thanking you to consider that to have concern about their health, but they're also warning you that if you are not enough concerned, maybe they can kill you with rabies. Thank you.